Welcome to this just-in-time video training series on the OLB setup process. In this video, we will demonstrate how to start and stop the OLB. This is the final video in this training series. If you are uncertain about a step in the OLB setup process, please reference this list as a guide and look for the other videos in this series that demonstrate each of the steps you see here. In order to start and stop the OLB, we will launch the Start OLB shortcut, log in with an OLB profile, and use the Stop OLB shortcut to disconnect. I will now demonstrate how to start and stop the OLB application. At this point, we have already completed installation of the OLB installation package to include the OLB certificate and the OLB installation file, and we can now see the Start and Stop OLB desktop icons. If you do not have these desktop icons, please see the previous videos in this series walking through the steps of the OLB setup process. If the setup steps have been completed correctly, you will see the icons on your desktop. To launch the OLB, double-click on the Start OLB desktop icon. A login window will appear, prompting us to log into the OLB. We will log in using our OTCnet user ID and the OLB password we created in previous steps of the OLB setup process. Recall that this OLB password is different than the OTCnet online password. You cannot launch the OLB using your OTCnet password unless you have set your OLB password to be the same. If you have not created the OLB password, please refer to prior videos in this series demonstrating how to create and import an OLB profile. In this demonstration, I am logging in as a check capture lead operator. Once you have entered in your OTCnet user ID and your OLB password, click Login. A window prompt will appear confirming successful login and launch of the OLB application. Click OK. Once you click OK, the OLB window will disappear, but the OLB will remain running in the background to enable us to perform check processing activities on OTCnet Online. The OLB will not disrupt any other activities being completed on the workstation. The OLB connection will remain running on the workstation unless the user logs out of the workstation, manually stops the OLB application, or restarts or reboots their computer. Now we will log into OTCnet Online. After logging in, you will notice a dialog box will appear in the middle of the browser window, asking us whether we would like to continue using Java applets or begin using the OTCnet local bridge. At this point, as we have completed the steps of the OLB setup process and launched the OLB, we can now select the second option to begin using the OTCnet local bridge. Once selected, you should no longer see this dialog box appear at future logins. Click OK. Now click the Check Processing tab and click Check Scan. In this demonstration, I will be entering in a new batch. Click Next. On the Check Scan page, notice there are two status bars in the far upper right-hand corner, one of which is the OLB Communication Status bar. The active green status tells us that our terminal is using the OLB to connect to OTCnet Online. If you scroll down, you will notice that the OLB Active Communication Status enables the Start Scan button to become active. Please note that the OLB Communication Status bar can only be seen on the Check Scan page. However, the OLB application is still necessary to complete other check processing activities. For example, although the OLB Connection Status bar does not appear on the terminal configuration pages, the OLB connection is required for check capture administrators and check capture supervisors to configure terminals. The OLB will automatically stop when you log out of your workstation, but if for any reason you would like to stop the OLB before logging out of a workstation, You can do so manually by using the desktop icon. Double-click on the Stop OLB desktop icon. You will notice a window prompt will appear asking us to confirm whether or not we would like to stop the OLB. If you wish to stop the OLB, click Yes. You will notice the OLB connection status bar now reflects the OLB connection is inactive, and the Start Scan button is no longer active. This concludes the demonstration of how to start and stop the OLB. To recap, in this video we demonstrated how to start and stop the OLB by launching the Start OLB shortcut, logging in with an OLB profile, and using the Stop OLB shortcut to disconnect. For further information, please visit the Fiscal Service website where you can find these and other resources to assist you in the OLB setup process. This is the last video in this series, and the OLB setup process is now complete. Please see the other videos in this series for demonstrations of each of the steps in the setup process. Thank you for watching. We hope this video has been a helpful resource. For additional information, please visit the Fiscal Service website.